So I consider myself a pretty rational guy. I don't entertain conspiracy theories for the most part. I have a healthy amount of skepticism, and I'm generally satisfied by the prevailing explanation. But not when I was younger. Anything not matching exactly the mainstream narrative was total BS to me then. But that changed based on two experiences. One shared with me by a family of 4 in South Dakota, and one personal experience regarding UFOs. When I was 20, I worked for a few months on a ranch named Craig's Simmental Ranch outside of Westport, South Dakota. A bar and a church. That was the town. One stop sign. Harold Craig was the ranch owner along with his wife Gwen. They had 2 daughters, Kelly and Tanya, 11 and 8 years old. I had come to know Harold as a salt of the earth type of guy. No nonsense. Gwen was just a normal person, normal wife. Nothing weird. The daughters were typical kids. We were all driving back in Harold's Cadillac from somewhere one night when Kelly pointed out a barn as we passed it. And she said, David, that's where we saw the UFO. All excitedly. I didn't believe in UFOs, and I told her so. Then she and Tanya began to tell me how they'd been driving past that ranch a few months ago and saw a light behind the barn. And Harold, their dad, had driven onto the property to investigate. Behind the barn was a giant orange glowing saucer hovering above the ground. Harold, Gwen, and Kelly and Tanya all saw it. It took off silently and faster than they'd ever seen anything move. When they were done, I asked Harold and Gwen if that was all true. Harold said that the owners were out of town of the ranch and asked him to keep an eye out on the place. He thought the light behind the barn was from a car and that some teenagers were trying to steal gas from a pump that was back there. So he went onto the property to run them off. He admitted that he saw what they described, his daughters. He added that the only explanation was some kind of government military project. He refused to even consider aliens. Gwen said she had seen it too and didn't want to talk about it. It didn't make sense, and she wasn't comfortable remembering it. She liked talking about things that made sense. I knew that they weren't making it up. I knew that it wasn't a mass hallucination. They saw what they said they saw. This whole family of 4, there's no way the kids, the wife, and this guy, Harold Craig, made it up or hallucinated. So, but I didn't believe in aliens either. And it didn't sound like something our military could build in the 1990s or now. I just registered it as a weird thing, but didn't change my mind about anything. Then it happened to me in Prescott, Arizona, 3 years later. I was running deliveries for a title company and had gone into a 7-Eleven, and I microwaved a burrito for lunch. I was parked facing away from the store while I ate the burrito, just absentmindedly gazing out the car window, lost in thought. And there it was. A pewter-looking, metallic-colored cylinder with a pointed nose and a flared body like a torpedo or a rocket, but with no fins or markings at all. Just this silver torpedo-looking thing in the air. And it was canted about 15 degrees from pointing straight up. So it was tilted slightly towards the right. And the weirdest thing of all, it didn't move. It was like it was stuck to the sky at all. It was just like glued. It didn't vibrate. And that's what really, like, what the hell? How is it hovering? It's not even pointing straight up and down. And how is it not, if it's got to have some kind of exhaust. There was no exhaust. There was no motion. It was just there. I rubbed my eyes and stared. I stuck my head out the window so I wasn't looking through the windshield glass. And there it was. There it was. Yes, there was a silver cylinder just painted on the sky. Just like it was glued there. It's just so strange. I stared and I tried to commit every detail to memory. I realized, this is going to probably come up again. You're going to want to remember this. And I just stared there and just like tried to commit every detail I could to memory. And as I was staring at it, it vanished. Didn't take off, didn't shoot off somewhere, it just wasn't there anymore. It disappeared while I was looking at it. It just wasn't there. I would say it was about 20 to 30 seconds that it was there. And then it wasn't. And I got out of the car and I looked around and did it go shoot it? It just disappeared. And I know what I saw. And then today, I heard a very similar description on the news about an object the Pentagon shot down on President Biden's orders over Alaska. They shot it down. They described it as a silverish-grey metallic cylinder that floated and didn't seem to have any means of propulsion. Which is exactly what I saw. It floated, didn't seem to have any means of propulsion, and it was silverish-grey. A cylinder. The body was a cylinder. At the end, it went to a point like a rocket. So I'm not saying that what was seen in Alaska is the same thing that I saw. It probably wasn't. It'll be interesting to find out what that was. It just, the first thing I thought when I heard that news, that sounds exactly like what I saw at that time. I wondered. But then again, who knows? Weird stuff happens, I've found out.